Welcome back. You're watching Financial Planner. Now, if you have any questions about your investments, is your money going to grow, or are you just going to be slowing things down because of some investment choices that you've made? Write into us. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your questions at financialplanner@utvmoney.com. Rahul, this person whose name we just made up, but he sent us in his portfolio. He doesn't want his name to be used. He sent us an idea of how much he was earning, where he was investing, and he wanted to know about PPF. He has 70,000 parked away over there. He wants to know if he should continue for another 15 years on PPF for retirement. So what do you think about PPF as a good plan for retirement?
Excellent. I think PPF is one of the best instruments available for retirement planning, and it's a advice which we give to all our clients and all our viewers all point of time. You need to have a PPF account. You know, you need to use that tax break which government is giving up to the 70,000 rupees under 80C,
right,
under every kind of a folio, because it's a tax-free return also, whatever you get out of PPF. So it's a fantastic investment. Continue and have that discipline.
Continue with that. Now, the next question is about infrastructure bonds. 20,000 rupees over their tax benefits. He has infrastructure bonds. Is this a good idea? Should he hold on to this, or is it just get rid of it?
No, it's a great idea. Again, I think as we started right in the beginning, this particular viewer, or Rahul in this case, is doing an excellent thing by doing efficient tax planning. He's talking about PPF, which is again a tax planning oriented instrument plus long-term benefit, and he's talking about infrastructure bond, which gives you a special limit of 20,000 rupees for tax planning every year in your tax return. So I think he's doing excellent. The only one suggestion which we want to give is, in a current environment, do not go and lock in all of your 20,000 in one issue of bond for infrastructure. The reason is interest rate is expected to go up, or has been expected to go up for some time, and there will be series of these issues coming, and you will see that there is a potential of the next series giving you a higher rate than the earlier series. If you will go and block all 20,000 in one series, next time you might be able to get 0.5% more, but you don't have money available
left over there.
Yeah.
So then if you want to sort of look at infra bonds as a way to save your tax, because now most people will be scrambling in the last couple of months to make those choices, and if you want to save that 20,000, don't put all 20 at one go in one issue. That would be the main takeaway.
And get your advisor or a planner or you yourself, do some kind of research and think which are the other expected issuers which are coming, and what are the expected rate of return which is going to get happen itself. We see by RBI's today's policy, there is tight liquidity in the market, which is an indication of higher interest rate coming in times to come, and we should take benefit of that rather than locking in all at one go.
All at one go. All right, great idea over there. Now I want to go across to another portfolio over here. This is Ajay Unyal, who's written into us. He's a central government employee. He's been serving for 37 years, and his only current savings are through PF, and he pays an income tax of 94,000 rupees per annum. He can invest 15 to 20,000 per month. So he just wants to know, what are his investment ideas? And I wanted to look at this portfolio only to talk about how are savings different for government employees? Do you think that people who work in public service need to look at their finances differently than people who work in private service?
A very interesting question. When you send me the query, my initial reaction was to say no difference between between government and all. But if you actually go through the intricacy, then I can do that at much more realistic level, because my father also has been in government saving servant, and he's done his savings. There are certain things which we need to really understand, not more than savings element, but at the financial planning level, because your goals articulation have to become very different if you're a government servant versus if you're in a private service. And I'll give you some examples. For example, in a government servant environment, your take home is less, but you have many perks.
That's true.
You're living in a government house, you have accessibility to cheap medical facilities and good hospitals, and many other such features, even schooling. Central schools, Kendriya Vidyalayas, etc. Cutting edge, very good education, but coming at very cheap price for you itself. So your expenses are artificially low.
That is true, and we also had this discussion when we were talking about people in the armed services and the defense forces, because you get housing, because you get cheap access to canteens. So all of your so basically you're spending low, therefore your financial plan should also be different.
Definitely.
So in this case, so what do you think he should do? He's talking about savings, PF. What should the strategy be if he's thinking about putting across a pool of money?
Sure. And continuing with our earlier answer, I think there is another element which a government servant vis-a-vis a private service environment he needs to be conscious about. Is retirement. I think that's the biggest goal which most of the government servants should really plan for. Though there is a bundled pension which built in, but in my lifetime, I've seen many a time this pension which is not very high. See, the way the structure of the pension is, it's there, it's decent, it's not sufficient. But what it does is that it gives you a false sense of plan of saying, don't worry about retirement, government is going to give me pension.
That's true.
But that pension many a time after retirement when it comes to you is not sufficient, keeping in mind your earlier life standard or which you want to maintain.
Right.
Big challenge. So I think what they need to plan for in a very, very conscious manner along with other things is their retirement. So, so in this case also I like to really highlight, I think what needs to happen is Mr. Unyal needs to go and prepare a financial plan for himself. Figuring out what are his goals, when do we want to do it, what kind of savings and investment does he have for that, what kind of a risk profile is his, there, and then on the top of all, prepare a retirement goal. And within that, instruments get fitted in.
Right, and he says that he can invest 15 to 20,000 per month for a period of 2-3 years. So we're assuming he still has those service years left.
Sure.
That he can use that money and maybe sort of bolster his retirement plan, as it were.
That's
or
right.
maybe work out something with his financial planner. All right, let's take a short break right now. When we come back, we were talking about PPF. We'll talk a little bit more about what it means and how exactly are you supposed to be saving through a PPF. I'll talk about that in just a bit. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Financial Planner. Now it's time for Term Busters, and the term of the day is PPF. Sumit Vaid is here. He's going to sort of explain this term to us. What exactly is a PPF, Sumit?
PPF is a magic pill.
We like magic pills.
Yeah, everybody should have one.
Okay.
If you have any money for savings, please make sure you have some exposure to PPF. PPF basically stands for Public Provident Fund, run by Government of India as a contributory retirement planning scheme for all citizens of India which are working not only in government but non-government areas also. So I think if you really go out the intent, you have EPF, which is Employees Provident Fund, which in an organized sector you get it. For unorganized sector and people who don't work in organizations, run their own practices, I think the intent was to start off with PPF.
Okay.
Though it's not only limited to them, anybody else can come on, but it's a very fantastic instrument which is there. And PPF offers you a rate of interest of 8% tax-free. Also Section 80C benefit up to 70,000. So it's truly a magical pill. It's
a magic pill. So how do you said everyone must have exposure to PPF. So how do you go about asking your HR department? Is there any special thing that you must know when you look at your offer letter? How do you read what's in your offer letter?
PPF is not the part of the normal provident fund which gets covered in your offer letter or what it's other than that. So it's a contributory scheme. That means in any company which you are working for, you might be getting certain provident fund, and that provident fund is getting taken care of either by the trust of that company or they are going and giving it to a government body to manage it. Now that's a separate thing. PPF is other than that. So what you need to do is, as always in every show and every query I articulate, please have a financial plan because while having a financial plan, there will be a component of tax planning which will happen. PPF as an instrument fits very well into a long-term goal of retirement planning.
Okay.
When somebody is looking at PPF, the first thumb rule is how much of ATC limit have I exhausted?
Okay.
So ATC limit has up to certain investments, certain instruments are available, and PPF gets 70,000 rupees in that. So you need to see if my employees provident fund is already exhausting my 40,000 limit or 60,000 limit, I've got 20,000 rupees left, get that 20,000 in PPF.
Okay.
If nobody has any EPF4, that means it doesn't have employees provident fund at all, go all 70,000 into PPF. Sometimes we have seen between husband and wife, they run two different bank accounts, and wife also invest in PPF separately as a separate entity and get a tax break while filing her return. That's an excellent strategy to do about it. So there is a huge incremental benefit to each family to really go and invest in PPF in separate names and get the benefit of long-term goal planning, especially retirement planning.
And is there a limit on investment?
70,000, as I said. You get tax break up to 70,000. If you go beyond that, nobody will say no to your investment. You'll continue to get 8%, but you'll not get the tax break.
Okay, all right. With that, we've learned a little bit more about PPF. if you have any questions for Sumit or any one of our financial advisors, you can email us at financialplanner@utvmoney.com. If you caught the end of the show and you wanted to see what happened in the first two segments, you can always catch clips on our website, utvmoney.com, or on Facebook, on my page, facebook.com/Smriti Rao. Now, I have to wrap up the show. From the entire team here, thank you for watching. Goodbye.